Okay, shall we start?
Yep.
It's already. So, good evening, everyone. Welcome again to yet another, edition of our Chai Pe Charsha. Thank you, Smita, for inviting me. And the topic is Stronger Together to explore the power of staying connected, to beat loneliness. For some of us, it may have aroused an interest on the topic, and for some, it might have raised a curiosity of what it is, and for some of others, we have not really felt like it's relevant to us because we have never felt that we are lonely. Some of us are now struggling with managing loneliness of our parents, and a few others among us could be already going through that phase. So, but the fact is that at some point in our life, we are all supposed to face this reality. Coming back to my own, way of life, I would say, I had been an introvert throughout, but I never realized that I was an introvert until maybe in my mid 30s or something, because I never thought that such a word existed and people are recognized like that. But I found that being lonely is something which I always enjoyed. So later on, I discovered that there is another word called solitude. And solitude is not necessarily loneliness or what these, I think we have got experts who will speak about this. അപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ചില സോളിറ്റ്യൂഡ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ being with ourselves, we enjoy that. But there is another phase of our life where we feel that we are all forced to get into that, situation where we feel that we are alone. There's no one around us. So let us look into all those dimensions. Like when we delve deeper into loneliness, it's not always that melancholic seclusion from the entire social life and you are left alone. So like every other realities of our life, loneliness also has to be managed and to be dealt with. So the how and why of this phenomena called loneliness, or this stage of life called loneliness, is what we are discussing today. Some of us may be able to relate it quickly, or some as we go along, നമ്മളത് realize ചെയ്ത് തുടങ്ങും. But let us be very open and mindful about this whole, this topic. And as I already told, we interchangeably use it, like loneliness, solitude. Luckily, I was talking to Smita also, like we have our older parents who felt like loneliness is a, ഒരു കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് ഒരു ശാപം പോലെ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒറ്റയ്ക്കായി പോയി എന്നുള്ള ഒരു വേദനയിൽ കഴിയുന്നവരൊത്തിരിയുണ്ട്. ബട്ട് നൗ വി ഹാവ് സീൻ ദാറ്റ് some of our parents, they enjoy that time, and they are, we know, those people who in spite of all those limitations, they know how to manage all by themselves. But it's also good. Probably some of us may will still be like that. അപ്പോൾ ഈ ഇത്തരമുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാനും and to discuss openly and let us look into those experiences and insights which each one of us have. And to lead this discussion, we have with us our beloved Priya, or also called as Abhaya Devi. So Abhaya will I like to call you Abhaya Devi, Priya, who will take us through the various dimensions of loneliness. So we'll roughly have around 1 hour, and the first 30-40 minutes, Abhaya Devi will take us through all those dimensions, and then we will have a few of our speakers also here who will share their journeys or their insights into it. So I'm starting with Abhaya Devi now. Welcome, Abhaya.
Hello, namaste.
Yeah. So my first, I'm just acting as a prompt, okay? So just understanding loneliness, what is it actually we mean by loneliness? So can you please understand how loneliness is defined as, and how can we differentiate loneliness and solitude? And how does our perception of each shape our experiences? Like, if you think that you are not lonely but you allow solitude, does that change? Does perception change our experiences also? Yes. And also, please share your personal journey towards this.
Yeah, so loneliness, we can speak in terms of various aspects. I like what Smita had written about this in that the tagline, like to feel connected irrespective of circumstances, no? Like what is not being lonely. Now, whether somebody may be in solitude, still feel connected and happy, and somebody may be in the midst of a crowd and still feel connected, no? Like that way, like the most healthy or happy situation is something like that. Whatever circumstance we are able to feel connected and satisfied and find some meaning like that. So the opposite is that lonely feeling. No, we may be in the midst of a crowd, and talking to so many people, but we still feel so lonely in the midst of all that because we don't feel a meaningful connection there. There is not a shared purpose, maybe something like that. So we can talk about loneliness in terms of various aspects. So one is like meaning. For example, in various phases of our life, we ascribe various meanings. No, we feel like different meanings. When we are studying, or we want to get a good job, or we want to go for higher studies, or we should like many different. We should have good friends, something like that. Or when we are in the youth, our meaning is about children and family and job and career. So we have that kind of meaning. No, we uh, get some happiness out of that meaning. And then later, like some people have some hobbies or maybe some spiritual meaning. And when people get older and the children are like they also go out and for higher studies or jobs, and they are alone, and especially the elderly, they are left alone at home. So everybody is somewhere else and not connected. Then there is no, they are not able, suddenly there is a vacuum. They don't have a meaning, no? And without a meaning, you cannot find form meaningful connections either. So the main one aspect of that loneliness is meaning itself. How do we find? Or some people have they find some hobbies and then they find some meaning in it. So that is one main aspect. What is the meaning which we give in our life? The second aspect is like connection, like we were discussing earlier, connecting to people. Even there are many people like related to us and like at home or at office or friends. Sometimes people feel very lonely because they cannot relate to them in a constructive manner. They feel
വേണ്ട
lonely. There is
സംസാരിക്കേയില്ലേ
no,
കണ്ടാ
there is
മാത്രം
no, there is no.
Priya, can you unmute? I by mistake unmuted you. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. So there is no shared purpose, like shared meaning, which we relate to those people. So that is the second aspect. How do we connect to people in a meaningful way, not just superficially connect? How do we connect in a meaningful way? And then the third aspect is like Binsi was saying, even in solitude, like it is good if we can learn to embrace solitude. Even for people who are very active, some people just cannot sit alone, or they are not used to it. They always want to be in some activity or other. But it is always good, at some time we embrace that solitude and learn to be alone, know ourselves, what we are, what are our thoughts and emotions, what do we really want, what is the meaning which we have in life, and also learn to be like in the present moment, not thinking with too much of worries about the future, regrets about the past. Learn to be like mindful and be in the present moment. Then also, like even when I talk to the elderly people here who are like leading quite solitary lives, they find a lot of comfort when they do this mindfulness meditation and all, and they try to know themselves and learn to be with themselves. So that is another aspect, like we embrace solitude. Doesn't mean that, okay, now I am going to be solitary, I don't want to relate to anybody. But when we know ourselves and we get to a very happy and peaceful state, that from there we can make meaningful connections, more better way. Because we know ourselves better, then we can also relate to others in a better way and develop more loving and more compassionate relations with others. And like we can try to develop, when we try to connect to others, also we can try to develop aspects like how to have a like very compassionate attitude to others, to in a helpful feeling. It need not be like we go out and do that, but it's all about the mental attitude, a very altruistic intent when it comes. So we also, even when we are solitary, we feel that connection to people. We don't feel like we are alone. In what I have observed is like when our parents' generation or even before, like people were more society had certain rules and they used to tell, okay, we have to do this way or that way. So we were more like in a dependent kind of like the emphasis was more on dependence. But in the modern day, present day society, it's more about like independence. People, that was a good thing. Like there is not so much of restriction. This you should do this at this age or do this if you're in this country. We are more free to do things. So that gave us a lot of freedom. And then we set our boundaries. I have this boundary in which people relate with that boundary. So the downside is that it is difficult for us to also connect to people. So one side, in olden days, we had this emphasis on dependence, and now we have the emphasis on independence. But the best thing is that interdependence. We are all related. All the humans, all the people are related, interconnected. So when we understand that deeply and we relate to others in that way, understanding us also, and then knowing this interdependence, then that is like a good solution for that loneliness.
Yeah. Thank you, Abhay. Now,
Okay, just 1 second, Bixi.
yes.
Priya, when you say this meaning and all, right?
Yeah.
Most often, we just, like you said, there were rules. Now there are unsaid rules, and we just follow what society is doing or what others are doing, what peers are doing. I mean, we don't think of it as a meaning and all, right? So you will have to come to that level where
meaning.
we all
So
are.
what I mean is that it may not be like I think, okay, this is my, like it may not be like a spiritual or some moral meaning or something like that, but we feel some meaningfulness in things what we are doing. Like if you are if you have kids, you see their growth and like then they are like their ambition and they are getting some good result, then you feel happy. So your meaning is in that. So it is not like people think, oh, this is my meaning, or it's not like such a philosophical thing I meant. It's like unconsciously or consciously we find meanings in each stage and each aspect of our life. In office also, then we go to office, we have certain ambition, and we expect people to behave in a certain way, and we expect society also to think of us in certain ways. Those kind of things. So that is what I call meaning. So that is what, then with that meaning, we connect to others. Now, from that perspective, we may not be really giving a label like that, but it's there. Now, that's why the older people, suddenly they are retired and people don't value them. Now, that also gives them a lot of lonely feeling, because what is their role in society? Now, suddenly somebody was so busy doing a government job or something, very high position job. Suddenly they don't have, nobody knows them, nobody wants them. Now, their meaning is lost and the children don't need them. Now, that is, I see many people here with that kind of situation. So that's what I meant.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, among us itself, some of us have is already going through that phase of loneliness, our active presence in social media may not be an indicator of how much lonely or less or more lonely we are. Okay, so how do we actually discover that we are going through that phase and we need to connect to someone? Is there a way by which we understand that these are some of the characteristics of me being in a phase of loneliness and I need to reach out and connect?
Yeah, when we contemplate or like when we see, we can feel, we don't feel a connection to people. We don't know what to do. Like earlier, okay, we are engaged in many things and we find, that kind of happiness in that. Suddenly, we just don't know like what to do and which activity to engage in. That kind of feeling creeps in now. We feel others are not understanding us. We are not valued. And we feel melancholy, those kind of feelings slowly. There are many signs which we can see. Bored, we are bored.
So what do you recommend when somebody feels like that? What steps one should take?
One is like that, I said, first we have to embrace that loneliness. Don't just run away from it. So most people, what they do is that when they encounter some boredom or some kind of such emotions, they try to find some engagement and fill in. But it won't be really deeply satisfying as such, if we don't really try to look deeply into ourselves, what we are. Try to sit with that loneliness for some time. But I'm not saying like be lonely like that, but from that understanding, then try know ourselves better and then try to connect to others in a very positive way. In a like with others also, like try to find a more constructive relationship. Maybe we are lonely because we are not liking others. Sometimes that also happen. We feel like dissatisfied with all the people around and what they are doing. Instead, if we develop love, very loving kindness and compassion, we feel they are also like us. They also feel lonely, or maybe some other like difficulties like that. So we feel that empathy. So from that point of empathy, try to develop that empathy and with an altruistic intent, relate with them. So even if they are not trying to behave in the way we need, we still feel happy. We feel satisfied that we are doing something meaningful. So these two aspects. One is like be happy, satisfied like what we are. Try to know ourselves more. And then also try to positively relate with others.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
So like
Yeah.
please.
Vijay, go ahead.
Yes, please.
I think one of the things I think about is like there's a question around what loneliness is, because I think each of us would. If we did a round robin right now and asked everyone what they think loneliness is, I think we would get very different answers. Because loneliness means very different things, and I think what Priya is saying kind of it's consistent with what she's saying is like, you can be lonely in a crowd, you can be lonely by yourself, you can be lonely, just not having anybody to talk to. You could be lonely in very different aspects. So there's almost a question of like what is loneliness, and what how do we think about loneliness and define it? Because it means very different things. And I have a few ways I think about it, but I think even that question is kind of important to just think about.
Does loneliness harm oneself, or you have to?
Your life expectancy, the science is pretty clear. Your life expectancy goes down with loneliness. You will live less, and you will also have, there are significant health issues with loneliness, both mental and physical from it. So lonely people die younger and they die with more diseases.
Priya, from your side?
Yeah, loneliness actually can lead to like depressive mindset. And like Bijoy is saying, like it can lead to, so when you're depressed and unhappy, no, like melancholy, like that, then naturally it will lead to health issues and such. And the general satisfaction in life is less.
Yes.
So Priya, this is Hira. I just wanted to add on and ask a question. So I like the point where you mentioned that rather than running away from the loneliness, right? Embracing the actual feeling, which is a good suggestion. But how? So I can see it from a spiritual perspective. I can understand, if you embrace loneliness, devote some time to meditation or, the spiritual path or upliftment that you're following, that might add in a lot of value. What would be your suggestions? Because, we don't want to end up, embracing loneliness and going into depression, right? That might not be a way to do it. So would you have any constructive suggestions on?
See, one is like I was saying, I was just not saying just about like you be solitary and you withdraw to a solitude or something like that. But during the day, it need not be in a very spiritual sense, because everybody is not interested in a very deeply spiritual path or something. So find some me time, we just be happy. We try to know ourselves and be with ourselves, try to see what is happening, what thoughts we are having, and what emotions we are happening, like what is happening in our mind. So have a time like that, try to know ourselves more.
Got
So
it.
yeah,
Okay.
and not just stop with that.
Contemplation, pretty much.
Yeah, so one is contemplation, and even people who are interested, like you don't try to think it's a spiritual thing. You can meditate. For example, like body, we all need to want to keep our bodies healthy, like that. Meditation can help us make our minds healthy, so we can take it that way. That is the only thing. The spiritual, non-spiritual, and all is like, it's all like artificial separation. How we can be
Understood.
happy, whichever way. That is the main thing, and not stop with that. Also continue with like how we can make our connections more constructive. So that also, that kind of contemplations also, like how we can contemplate on loving kindness to others, and like compassion to others, and how do we have a helpful mindset to others. So that kind of things also, as a
Yeah,
mind
like-
training.
Like my
Got it.
meditation.
Thank you. Thanks, Priya.
My meditation today was like on the 4 elements. So it's like it's just thinking about the earth, wind, water, and
Fire. Fire,
Fire.
space. Yeah.
yeah,
Fire,
yeah. I
space.
mean, just the elements of it, and it's I mean, you could take it very spiritually, but it was like, you want 70% of your body is water. If you just contemplate your body, you're essentially contemplating water. If you contemplate your body, you're contemplating earth in some way. And I mean, this may sound a little kind of like wishy-washy with some people, but it's if you really kind of bring your presence to a moment. I mean, you think every religious practice is about being present and being in this moment and nowhere else, not thinking about what has already happened, not worried about what's going to happen. Just that being right here, this moment, you're paying attention to what everyone's saying here, paying attention to what you're feeling, paying attention, being aware of what's going on with you and what's happening in this moment. I mean, that's the basis of like every religious practice. Everybody's religion at some level kind of has that contemplative practice. And even if you don't believe in any religion, I think the act of contemplative practice is a good thing for you. Just,
So Prem, if you can just bring out something, you have been managing people, so
Yeah, I think when Vahid told me about this, I thought I will look at some stories, life stories, which have some messages. Like one person who I see as an ideal for me in this loneliness thing is my great grandmother. So my great grandmother was alive when I finished my engineering also. So she was around 88, 89. And she used to stay alone in a village, and nobody was around that house also. So it is a house with only farm around, and nobody is there. So I used to visit her every maybe 6 months or something. So whenever I go there, I see her full of life, and she has some special dishes. She makes pickles. She makes so many things, and she cooks a special food for us, for me, and she's so happy to see me. And she says, "I already prepared all these things, and she will give us give me the food I like, and then she will give me 50 rupees." So even though I was working, she will always give me something. So, till she died, till the year she died at around 90. She was completely happy and engaged in doing something. So, so I think that is something I think, and she's one of the most beautiful old ladies I have seen in my life. She was so beautiful. So, but the backstory is that she lost the full family for small with because of smallpox when she was 7 years old. The full village was wiped out with smallpox. So I don't know why somebody she's happy because being alone, or because of that incident, or I don't know. But she was always happy and accommodating everybody who comes to her life. So this is, I think, she's a ideal to how to live. Maybe some lessons from that. So this is one story. I will tell one more story. So another story is that see, from our office, we used to visit some orphanages and all those things. So maybe a few years back, we visited on blind girls school actually. Okay, so this was winter. So what we thought was we will buy some sweater for the girls. And interestingly, I only gave the suggestion that we will buy two colors, blue and gray. Okay. So everybody is asking, why do you buy two colors? Because they cannot see. So when we were distributing that, one girl asked me, "Ki, what is the color of the sweater?" I said, "Ki, we have two colors, gray and blue." And she told me, "Give me blue." Then I said, "How do you know what is blue?" And then she told me that my teacher told me that I look beautiful in blue. So, so this was something like see, this loneliness. If you look at loneliness, if somebody is blind, she's if somebody imagine, you can see, if you look at it like their loneliness is on a different level. They cannot see anything. And I asked that if that school honor, who is the principal or something. I asked him whether she is born blind or she is blind later. But he said she is born blind. So somebody who is born blind is so positive about life, and she's trying to live her life based on somebody else's experience. So that is one way of coming out of our loneliness or our lack of meaning. So we can live our life through somebody else's eyes or somebody else's life. So I think this is one of the messages I got from this interaction. So this is the second point. Maybe I will tell one more story. So this is from my office. Like one of my uh, the person. So he is a very good employee. Like he used to work very hard. He used to do very well. He used to be very good in communication, everything. But suddenly he became lonely. Means he will not speak to anybody. His performance dropped. So I observed him for 1 week. He's not improving. So then I called him and asked him what happened. So he did not say anything to me. He said, "No, nothing." Then I have asked him again after 2 days. He said nothing. Then I called him to my room and told him that you have to tell me what is the problem. Otherwise, I am not going to leave you. See, he sat there half an hour and he started crying. So he told me that his wife had a second what do you call the uh, what is it called?
Affair.
Affair? No. Second
Diagnosis?
kid is gone. Like, what is it called?
Abortion.
Abortion, yeah. Second abortion. Just his wife had second abortion, and she is in a very difficult state. And so I listened to him. I could not do anything in that state, but I listened to him for maybe half an hour. Then, see, slowly his performance and his interactions improved after that. So from that, what I found out is that when you are in a state of mind or in a difficult situation, it's very, very difficult to come out of that case on. So you need somebody to listen to or something. Somebody has to listen to him, or somebody has to prompt him, or somebody has to compel him to come out of that. So it's very difficult for somebody to come out of their own. So these are the three lessons I learned from. Maybe they are different from different experiences, but I thought this may be relevant to people.
Yeah, thank you, Premlal. So that actually takes me to a next question, to again back to Abhaya. Actually, in this age of technology and innovations, we are all connected, literally, like through all devices, and all these devices are urging us to stay connected. But in spite of that, more and more of us are feeling lonely. So what Premlal was just telling, like he actually needs support. Some of us may, get back to social media and try our best to stay connected and, minimize all the effect of loneliness, and probably we may fail. So, what do you think that in this age of technology and all these gadgets and connections there, how do we actually stay connected? What's the real connection? What do you mean by the real connection? You're on mute.
I mean, I have something like over the last week, my son and I, we went on a mission trip to South Dakota here in the U.S. and on a Native American reservation. We are just helping on different service projects, and we took his phone away for the whole week. He did not have a phone for a whole week, and it was literally kind of like transformational to see him. And it was the whole group, all the boys and girls did not have their phone for the week, so they couldn't complain about it. But they spend the whole week kind of connecting with each other in a way that if they had their phones, I'm pretty sure every parent here knows what they would be doing, sitting right side by side on their phones, 2 feet apart from each other, not talking to each other. But instead, they spend the whole week, they were doing service projects, they were singing, they were dancing, they were talking, they were chattering, they were playing cards, they were interacting with each other. So I think there is something to what some people are saying, like the digital detox. Can you actively decide to like put your phone away for periods of time, even a whole day, a whole week, and just not connect at all? Maybe actually a useful thing to do. Because I think there's a paradox of like, you have the phone, you can connect with anybody, you can talk to anybody anytime. But I think it's also a big contributor of our ability to have real connections and a real presence when you're talking to people, because the phone is digging in the background. The desire to go to the phone is there. All of these things, it takes away from I think most of the people on this call remember at some point when there was not a cell phone. And I think our connection and communication with people were different. And our ability to like talk to people was different. I think when we are talking and the level of connection that you had in a conversation was very different when you did not have a phone.
Priya, your comments.
I don't know. 1 second. I don't agree, Bijoy. Depends on your intention, right? Depends on your intention. When I maintain the same kind of connection through a phone call, which I used to have in person also, right? So my intention is to stay connected. So in phone, you can do multiple things, but then if your intention is to talk to people, like I had this confusion when I drive to office, I'll call a friend. When I drive back from office, I'll call a friend. Then I'm like, okay, will they be available? Is this a good time to call? Then I came up with one solution saying, I will call. If they pick up, we speak. If they pick up and say, I cannot speak, that's fine. I'll call the next one. So some of the friends used to tell, okay, today is my turn, is it? Who didn't pick up today? So if the intention is to connect, then you stay connected regardless of technology, with the technology, without technology. Yeah, this is a distraction, I agree.
So it
I mean,
is.
I don't.
Smita, I agree. I agree absolutely with what you just said. So it's all about the intention.
Intention.
And Bijoy, I really feel that I am much more connected than I was, in the 90s when we had no connection with any of our old friends, even the CET group for that matter, right? We didn't have anything, no way to connect unless you didn't even have cell phones, so it was not easy to stay connected. So now I feel it's just a matter of sending a text message or whatever, if you really want to talk to somebody. So I feel much more connected and very much in touch with people.
I think
Yeah.
we're talking about two different things now. Like one
Yeah,
is
I think we are.
with scrolling and connection. Technology enablement is there. So I think Priya to comment on
Yeah. So
by digital.
both of them, what they're saying is true, I feel, because like Smita said, if we have an intention to connect, we can definitely connect. And now there we have so many technologies and all these things which help us to connect. No, earlier like we didn't have any WhatsApp groups for class and all. So people go out, they don't connect for so many years. So we also started connecting only now. But at the same time, when a person is near us, not directly, we give them total time, total dedicated time to them. We have no other way. But nowadays, we have all this. We have two different connections. Same day we have phone and WhatsApp, and then and also people don't know what we are in reality. We may be thinking something we may be showing outside, and we are all multitasking. We connect to multiple people at the same time. So it's like like our total attention is no. So there is no depth. Maybe earlier we didn't have that kind of vast scope. Maybe in olden days, Premlal was saying about his grandmother, maybe in the same village, maybe some people are connecting. But whichever connections are there would have been some depth. That depth is going away nowadays because people know everybody's quite, they don't have time and they spend little time with each person. So that is the difference. And even when we go for train, earlier we used to do a lot of train journeys. Earlier people will, whoever is there in the bogie, they will start talking something. Then by the time we come out of the train, we have become friends. But nowadays, if you try going in train, everybody is sitting with one phone. And and you go to a hotel, even in villages. Sometimes we go to some remote villages and we see people are maybe shabbily dressed or they don't seem like maybe educated or anything, but still they all have such big phones and they are all looking at their phones and their life is into that. So that shows us now. So it's like two sides. But at the same time, we have to live with that. The world has changed. We cannot totally do away with
No.
this. We are going to be in distant places. So we have to live with that reality and learn to connect in this kind of situation.
Yeah,
I mean,
I have one
I think
small,
Priya,
I have a small,
but I
small,
just
small experience, this one to add. Actually, phone can be like when there was a Chennai flood, I have connected to all the people in Chennai and asked them individually whether they are okay. So all of them actually after that they called me and said they felt connected. So how do you use it also is important.
Yeah.
Important. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Can I
Yes.
take a minute on loneliness, might be?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah,
Yes.
hi friends, to connect after a long time. Recently, one of the things of somebody who lived past 100 years, they asked one comment was, what is on the longevity? He said that the longevity was not much, at least his view, was not food or healthy practices, but having something to look forward for the day. That particular day, there is something positive to look for, something to achieve, something to do. And that fills up that day. That is what he felt that energized him and kept him along. To a good extent, I feel that this is something which we need to explore. And this I say in two more things which I say because in this aspect. I have seen it my previous generation, my parents and this one. So they were like all government employees or this one, which once they retire, suddenly there is a vacuum. They are immediately, their day is disconnected in the sense like which things from 10 to 5 they will do, that becomes a vacuum. And I have seen slowly things like getting extended. Things used to get finished before 10, now got finished by 12. Things which could have started by 5 now get starts by 2. They were just extending to fill the day. And that also a little artificially. Over a time when you can't do that, I can understand. So this what happened is that suddenly they got aged or they came to a situation they feel like, oh, I need this much time. One thing we need to plan over is that with all the things what we have, all the interests what we have, all the things is that there we will also face, many of us will who are employed will face a retirement phase, or people who are in their own businesses, their own vocations, their own individual, that is a different matter. They have a much longer way of getting out of it. Do plan something very actively which will take your creative energies to keep you along. So that is one thing I feel. I leave it to others. Now, second thing I have seen about this loneliness is about the people connection you have. Now, this came from maybe I should quote my own father. So till 82 age, pre-COVID, he was very, very active in the sense like my mom was my mom was the one who had health problems. He was very, very active, and might be 2018 onwards, my mom had a lot of problems. But at that time also, he had a purpose of life. In the morning, he gets up, he attends to mother. My mom was with my sister. It means both of them were in between. He will go to my hometown, see the property there, come back. In whatever ways he could spend that energy, he was very alert, active, and his body functions were good. And once mom passed away, that is when I saw him literally lose, like he sat down. I have not seen him like sitting down that way. Then came COVID, that's a different matter. And then all the things went into a limbo. So this why I brought it up is that, yes, you have core dependencies on people or things what you do. But if suddenly that vanishes from your life, you have a blow. You need to find a way out. And in this one, like if you are the person who are dependent, you need to find a way out. If you see such a person, you need to work with them to find them a way out. And to an extent, my father then focused on reading. No, he didn't, like after COVID, many of them had the physical things to go out also, muscle atrophy, everything. So he was not that much, but much into reading. In some of the very good books he read after that. These are the couple of points I want to leave with you on the thought. You ensure that your energy levels, you have a day to look to. You ensure that you have your connections are continued. You grow new roots. And if you manage that, I think your life also will be very, very much, useful. You feel worth, and it will continue as good as in a very, very tapering way. Yes, sometime you have to go, but it will be more of a tapering way. I'll leave at that.
Thanks, Manoj. You did not come on cam. Come
Yeah,
in.
thank you, Manoj. Yeah, exactly. This is what we wanted to actually end this session with. So before we take a round with all of you, there is Srikanth with us who would like to actually share his journey or his experiences about loneliness, the experience which he was aware of others. Please, Srikanth.
Srikanth is never lonely.
Not
Yeah, yeah. He was the one who said, I don't know what you're talking about.
No, you can tell what
That-
he's
that
not
is-
loneliness.
I was also wondering why Srikanth was like
That is
Srikanth.
something, yeah, sorry, am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible, no problem.
Hi.
Okay, I got my son and my wife also behind, so
Still you are not.
You are monitored.
so I can't, not because they are around, but I have never felt a loneliness. Mainly thankful to a group of us. After college also, we have continued in the professional side as well as location-wise. Few of us have been together since college days. Some of them may be online, like through in Bombay and then in Bangalore and all of that. So these days, our attempt is to see like how we can get us some sleep on the same day. Mostly end up finishing the day past midnight. So we are mostly occupied with friends, families, and work. So, and some of this we do get together once in couple of weeks at least minimum. Tomorrow also we are planning some sync up. So yeah, all these have been keeping me away from loneliness.
So this is it other way, opposite of loneliness, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now we have another 10-15 minutes left. We can have an
No, but
open-
I have a question for Srikanth.
Yeah, okay, Smita.
Srikanth, what happens if they don't turn up when you call them, right? What happens to you then? Because no, I'm okay. So the reason why I was asking Priya about meaning is also some of us see. I have this problem, Srikanth. This is a question to myself than you, but then I'm just asking you because you are in that same kind of situation. I proud myself as somebody who stays connected with people, but the moment I'm not able to do that, or somebody feels that I am not doing it, or even I feel that I'm not able to do that, then I get into depression, right? Because that's your identity. That's your meaning in life. Your meaning in life is that you have those 6 people, 7 people, 10 people, 100 people, 200 people, or your followers. You've seen that girl who died because she lost followers, right? So, like some of us, the meaning is, currently there is a meaning, I agree. But then I think Priya is trying to tell us to go beyond that meaning and then find something which will stay with us even if we don't have people around.
Or be flexible with meaning.
Be flexible
Yeah.
with us.
Yeah, if we call and they don't turn up, you'll have to appreciate that they also have they are also probably busy or like are dealing with something more important. But again, I see it like if they don't turn up, they miss it, then I'm missing it. So
Okay. So shall we do one round like each one of us? Maybe you can give us some practical tips on what each of us can think about going forward, like what we have already exercising, or could be something which you propose that others can also follow.
Priya, any comments on whatever was said so far?
No, it's fine.
Yeah.
Arun? Yeah, you're mute. You're mute.
Sunani.
चला गया क्या?
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. See, last week my daughter finished the exams and she was asking me, Dad, if you are dead, how would you like to be, cremated? And, the same question I asked my dad, many years back. So life is all about living with yourself. If you can't love yourself, probably we are wasting time on this earth, right? You came alone, you will go alone, right? All these people, CET, mother, father, brother, sisters, they're just like your, they will help you with certain things. But at the end, most important thing is you have to help yourself. So this is the philosophy which I learned from my family and my dad particularly. Or rather, it's coming in our family from family tree. So for me, loneliness is something when you lose connection with yourself. For example, if I have to do something for others, that is very good. But if I am forced to do certain things for others, probably I am leaving my core, right? Of course, I do these things. When I get a lot of money, I change myself. I try to present myself to somebody in a way that, okay, he will feel great. And at the end, we sign some deal and I make money. But at the end, money, there is something else beyond money, which is myself, right? The money is helping me to grow. Yeah. And I want that money. So it is all about my wants. Maybe I'm getting a little philosophical, but at the end, I would like to conclude that probably we should focus on how we can service ourselves. Yeah. What is our mental needs? What is our physical needs? What is our spiritual needs? Go help your friends and be honest to them. If somebody look asshole, tell him, my friend, you are asshole. Yeah. So if we start acting in front of our friends, for example, I go to Wahid, I tell him, bloody, this is crap. Yeah. So I feel great about it that I help my friend, at least making him feel what I think about him. So first thing is about, how I connect myself with myself is try to be as honest as possible, acting less and, behaving transparently, much better. So I think maybe, I'm able to present this because I'm thinking in Hindi and talking in English. So sometimes that translation can be wrong, but this is what I think. Your connection with yourself is the most important. Rest, my children, my wife, they are all just, part for me for some time. If I am dead, they'll say, okay, this is dead body, right? So rest all is drama for me. So that's it.
Perspectives. Okay.
Okay, anyone else?
Is there a gender to loneliness? Do you feel ladies feel more lonely or men feel more lonely? Anything like that? Anybody?
My experience is women can adjust to loneliness better. Like in my family also. Actually, in my family, in case of my mother, my father went first, so my mother was lonely. So her way of coping up was like she started building a house, and she took 4 years building a house for herself. So she said, I will build a new house. So we said, okay, we will support you, make. But till the time the house was built, she was very active, very happy. But after 1 year, sorry to say that, but she passed away. So I always feel that ladies are more what do you call that? Successful in managing loneliness, and they have something to do.
I don't know if there is a gender necessarily, but the science says basically that women are more likely to face depression in their life than men are. I don't think it's very different, but there is a difference there. Um, I don't know whether that can be attributed to loneliness or the need for more companionship and the lack of it, but there's definitely and definitely women go through postpartum depression in addition to and postmenopausal kind of like physical changes. All of those kind of have an effect that it's different. I think there's also definitely something to think about that the bonding and the companionship that men approach are very different than the bonding and companionship that women think about it. I think there's a difference there that leads somewhere into like how do you view loneliness and connection in a different way. Like Bhatti and I can probably sit in a room and say nothing for like 20 minutes and be very happy with it. I'm a, but I don't know if two women would sit in 20 minutes and be absolutely silent for 20 minutes and be happy with that. This is the difference there.
Vijay is our data.
Vijay, but if we have two females also in that room, that will make us more happy, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any comments from you, Priya? We don't get you that often. That's why I'm directing all the questions to you.
About women are more emotional. So if situation is there, maybe they may be connecting more emotionally, and they may be also getting affected more, like deeply emotionally. That's what I observed compared to men. But the same time, when like elderly people, when they become alone, like one spouse pass away and all, because women are more emotionally connecting to people and all, they can cope a little better compared to, that's my observation seeing the elderly people here. The men suddenly feel very isolated like that. That's my observation.
I think, Priya, people would like to know a little bit about your work since, if you can just give us, and how do you connect to resolving some of the challenges that we have just discussed today? That's also interesting for people to know. Probably some of us can reach up to you for any help.
So the work we are doing is that here, like I was telling you, we have a temple here, and then we also have classes, and anybody who wants, they can come and meditate. So
It's
that
in
was also
Trivandrum.
yeah,
Tell where.
Trivandrum.
Yeah.
Trivandrum, PTP Nagar, Trivandrum. So then, so one of the objectives was like to promote like people to like the meditation, people to encourage people to meditate.
Yeah.
So anybody who wants to meditate, they are welcome to come here and do that. Then we also give classes on meditation and emotional management. In Bangalore also, we were having this kind of classes. And they're mostly like all these IT people used to come, and they had a lot of stress, how to cope with stress and that kind of like depressive tendencies. And basically, it's all coming from the mind now. So knowing your mind more, how to manage your emotion, those kind of things. Even loneliness is one, like boredom is another, depression, like feeling sad is another, all these kind of emotions. Or some people are like, so no, they cannot control their anger. They feel like very distressed or angry with the society around how to control anger. So those kind of things also. And then also like people who want to more deeply spiritually pursue things, like those kind of paths also.
One question, like if you have earlier, maybe the same situation if you were facing earlier, like before you came into this area, like, so how you used to react and how it is different when you react now. So whether it has evolved because of your practice and all those things,
Yeah,
and how
so
what we can learn from that.
the one is become more peaceful now, and like when we understand about impermanence, also things change. So like relating to what I was telling earlier about meaning, it changes. It also changes now. What we are also changes. Our friendship changes. Our situation changes. So when we embrace change, also, we become more at peace with ourselves. At a very simple level, even that can be very helpful. Like knowing about the true nature of things, like, because everything is changing. We also age, we may become lonely at some point, and this kind of things, that helps. And also like like becoming mindful, being in the moment, like don't thinking too much about past things and like regretting them, or thinking always about what can I do next, like that kind of worries, that also settle down, and then we feel more happy. And another aspect is, like I said, like we feel like a deep love to others, irrespective where maybe we are not showing outside, but that helps us also. We sometimes think, no, okay, we have to take care of ourselves. Okay, we have our objectives and we have our lives. But we can see that we become much more happier when we think about others. How we can help others, love others, that also helps us. So that is another thing.
I mean, I think one of the things that, in the past 5 to 10 years that I've started to feel is like, I mean, I think a meaningful life, I think, is a life of service, and service to others, not necessarily. And I think too much, and we spend too much time thinking about us and what we need and all the things that we need. But I think and this is fresh in my mind. I just spent a week in South Dakota and just trying to help people there. It's a Native American reservation. They have an average life expectancy among males males live up to 45 years, that's the life expectancy of men in the reservation, it's in the US, but I think India's is like 65 or something like that, I think. So it's like, being in a place where you can do, and we spend time like weeding playgrounds and painting rooms and just, but just being able to contribute to the community, your community, being able to like help other people, to me, that is like takes you away from you and spending so much time thinking about what you're worried about, what happened already, and what you're worried it's going to happen in the future, and just being there and trying to contribute to society and being of service to someone else. I think to me that is, if to me at least, I mean, I felt like it's the strongest antidote to like loneliness,
Yeah, true.
and it contributes significantly to your well-being as well.
Yeah, that what you said is true. So I like that kind of feeling, to help people. If we can actually do it, like in a meaningful way, we should do it. And even if we cannot, everybody is not in a situation to do like that. So even then, like, that intention, we
Yes.
have that intention of helping others, that
Yes.
feeling, that also connects. Sometimes I've seen some people who are in a long time retreats. They are not connecting to people. They are in meditation or doing some sadhana for a long time. But then when we see them, they are so full of love and, like so much connected. We can feel that with them now. So that is because although they are not physically connecting, they are doing this meditation on loving kindness. So they are having that intention. So that makes them so happy and cheerful. We also feel like that we can feel that love in them. So it's all in the mindset, whether if we can really do, we should do it. Even if we cannot have that kind of mindset. And even in our existing connections also, we can feel that it will make a difference in our approach when this approach changes.
Yeah, guys, I have to go. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thanks, Arun.
So thank you. And I just wanted to leave a message that is there any way we can make this commercial? Somebody need it, So Wahid, I don't know her address or something.
Yeah, no.
Maybe we can help more people. Yeah. Thank
Sure.
you.
So, Priya, I just want to ask you, so you just said something now that how do you get into that mode? Like you said, like I'm convinced, but I want to get into that mode. Is it by self-awareness or is it by what action should one take towards that direction?
Like which mode? Like you mean like a more connecting
Yes.
kind of mode.
Yes.
So this is all like we can train our minds.
Okay.
Because like train our bodies. So because we have certain emotions, we are used to thinking in certain ways, because maybe socially also like parents and society tells, oh, you have to take care of yourself first. Depends on the setting, like we grew up or what we see from society, like that way we have like programmed ourselves. So we can deprogram ourselves and we can do a new program to run that way. Like, we can,
So
for
you have to
example, we
take an
can,
external help or how do you?
not external, like we can do that kind of training, mental, trainings. We can do it ourselves. For example, we can think, try to feel love towards a very close one. We have our children or spouse or parents. One example I'm just giving, like we can try to feel, how do we feel now? When we think about them, they're so happy. then what is the feeling which we get in our heart? And then we can try to extend that feeling to people who are very close to us. Try to feel that, how do we feel, no? That love to other people who are close to us. If they are happy, how will we feel? Try to feel it. And then try to extend that. I'm just giving an example of a mind training method. Try to extend that feeling to people who are more neutral. This won't happen like in one sitting or something. You have to continuously trying to do this kind of training. Like training, I didn't mean like a training program, like a meditation or contemplation, like a contemplative thing. Like then you think like about people who are very distant or you may not like also. Like try to extend that kind of love to them. So like that, slowly we can try to feel that connectedness. This is one example. There are many ways in which we can do this kind of exercises.
I mean, I feel like the act of prayer, regardless of your religious practice, is a place of real contemplative practice where you are, if you really act in a truly prayerful manner, and it doesn't matter what religion it is. I'm just like, you could be, I mean, you go to Mecca and you go around the Kaaba and like, you go into the forest and you spend time as a sadhu, or you retreat to a convent and you spend all your time just kind of in prayer. That deeper kind of like presence and being there has an effect when you get to that place. Because I think meditation is just a form of prayer. Is the way I think about it. It's just you're not praying to a god, you're just spending your time in the same sense. So I mean, I think just that getting to a spiritual, contemplative place where you kind of thinking less about what everything else and just kind of being present there and spending time thinking about how you can contribute to the world and how you can contribute to the local circle around you, the bigger circle beyond that, and a wider circle around the whole world, and how you can contribute to it as a meaning. But to me, it's like it's prayer and spiritual practice, kind of expanding it to the places you think you want it to go.
So this, is it short term, or like, for example, when you want to transition from this rewiring of your mind and rewiring of this, there is a phase of transition, and then there's a phase of continuing it. Of course, prayer and things like that is an ongoing mechanism. But in terms of rewiring yourself, like some of us are being more aware now that this is possible, and and sometimes you seek help or go for assisted, or we are more conscious or make an effort towards it. So do you see this as two different phases? And how does prayer, as what Bijoy is saying, is prayer is also a part of spiritual wiring and maintaining discipline?
The prayer also, definitely that is very helpful, because like whichever religion or non-religion or anything, because your own awareness is like as yourself, that is becoming small, and you're surrendering to a bigger and more nobler reality. That is what is happening in prayer. When we are praying to something, some divinity, or like we are praying for the well-being of others. So whichever way we are praying, it's like your own concerns become small. So why we are unhappy, one thing is that we sit alone. The moment we sit alone, all our concerns come into our mind. Then even the small things become very big. And when we pray, all this is just dissolving. So that is also a good thing. Another is like, for example, this kind of like contemplations on that are also same thing. You're thinking about others. Like, so your concerns become less. So main one problem with like when we are feeling more sad, more unhappy, more depressed is when our concerns are eating us. We are always thinking about, oh, this is my problem. What will I do? The moment we start thinking about others, now problems start becoming lesser and less. Others or some godly figure or some divinity or universal good or some more noble thing. So that is one thing. So the shift in perspective from a very self-centered view to a much more wider, more open kind of perspective. So that can help us irrespective of our religious views.
Vinci, if you
Yeah, it's
allow,
like
Vinci, if you allow me.
Yeah.
See, something is
I think
very
it's a
wild. It's a very wild question. Okay. Now, you're seeing a lot of war now. Okay. Like you see Gaza, you see when from your perspective, like we are all feeling bad, helpless, or we don't understand. We don't know we don't know how to react or anything. From your perspective, with all this probably little bit more advanced than us in terms of wiring. Why is this happening and what can be done about it? This violence and all this in this world. And a bigger perspective, I'm talking global. Priya.
So this is because earlier we had this kind when we were growing up, we had these values. Everybody should be happy. People should not have poverty, and people are. We should get to where people are more equal and happy, and diversity, unity in diversity. We also embrace people who are different from us. Not just like people who are just like us. But I think nowadays, I don't know whether it is because social media or not, people are becoming more and more limited to their own circle. No, I believe in this and I am like that, and they become, and then also social media, we can see a lot of discussion, like I don't like people who are not like me, or who don't belong to my religion or my caste or my group or my gender or many, we see more differences there rather than unity. So there is no respect or love or tolerance to people who are different from us. So, but while we were growing up, I think it was a little bit different. People who used to value, we are all different, but we have this shared love with each other, shared concern for humanity as a whole. But that is really going away. Okay, these are those people are different from us. They should perish or they should not be happy. Only our group should be happy. The people are all becoming so divisive. It is so sad to see this situation. So the antidote that we should again bring up those values again, like to see the humanity as a whole. Everybody should be happy. They're all like us. The small children in the war areas, whichever city, whichever group they belong, they are also like our own children, just like us. So it feels we should have that feeling. Then we see when we tear apart these kind of outer veils, that separate us, like all this religion and the different groups and nation and like whatever it is, then we see we are all the same. All of us are the same. We have the same feelings. We all want to be happy. So we should stay united in that.
The world has a big problem.
Thank you. So before we wind up, I think it's almost time. Is there anyone who would like to speak or ask questions or share their thoughts? Sarita?
Suresh? Srilekha? Sindhu?
Princy is not saying anything.
Miriam? Lakshmi?
Hira has spoken. Anyone who would like to speak? Illa. Okay.
I'll ask a question.
Yeah, please.
Yes, Miriam. Yes.
Are we all here because we are lonely, or are we connecting?
We are connecting.
Okay.
I'll say we've all dealt with loneliness. I don't think anybody who got here is you're at least curious or dealt with some level loneliness at some level. But it doesn't necessarily mean that loneliness is the existential problem right now. But I think we have some regard for loneliness and the effects of loneliness.
I think it was a very good session. Two comments sort of, I guess. One is that when we were growing up, I think we were not ever taught to put our happiness first. We were sort of raised to find happiness by doing things for others. So to find your own happiness, when you say that, it's not an easy thing, right? It's hard to say, oh, I want to be happy, and it's really a mental block to say, oh, my happiness is important, or I need to be happy. That is something that I think it's a cultural thing. It's something you have to learn to do. And you're surprised because there is a lot of emphasis in today's generation for their own happiness, right? What Abhay was saying about the society being dependent versus more independent now, right? And from what Premlal was saying about his great grandmother and about the little girl who was blind, who was, sometimes I think that we don't realize our priorities until certain life events happen. Things like difficult things when you have to face hardships in life, or illness, or things like his great grandmother had her experience with smallpox, and it sort of sifts things for you, and you realize what is important, what is the really important things, and what are the unimportant things, and how to find happiness in the important things. So I think I had lots of comments about every little conversation that was had, but now I'm forgetting everything. But two main points is that, I think.
Thanks, Mary.
Yeah, thank you.
One thing, Binsi. Priya, do you do online sessions? You do, right?
Yeah.
You do.
Yeah.
So when I went to the temple, I had the same question, Wahid. How do you practice? Right? I went with this thing about how do I love Pakistani soldiers, Pakistani terrorists who came and like things like that. So she said, no, start from small. Who's the person in your life whom you can love in their success? So I took my son. So she took me through a practice, maybe 10 minutes. And I could feel, when she says you will be filled with love, right? I could feel that. And then she took me through a series of things. So if anybody is interested, and if Priya is okay, if you could do that for us in a session, Priya, at a time when you fix. I think we will all get a taste of what
we
is.
we should try and do that. Priya is good that we have a Priya within our batch. We don't have to, so we can go and it's accessible. See, I'll tell you something. This is something you'll all relate to. How bad the world is. Okay, our batchmate there is in CET. This Pakistani Afridi incident. Did you read in the newspaper? No? Okay, see, in Dubai, it's common that Pakistanis, Indians, all are coming together. Okay, so we have alumni meeting. There was an alumni meeting of our college, like our college of Cochin Science, and it was in a hall of Pakistani embassy, Pakistani association. Okay, so because the hall was cheap, when they went there, they did their get together there. In the next hall, Afridi came for a meeting. Afridi, the bowler Afridi, cricketer.
Shahid Afridi.
Shahid Afridi. When he came there, one of our CT is a president like me guy. He invited Afridi to the Malayali associations, Malayali CETA groups meeting, and he came. People all took photo and said boom boom. This was taken on social media. Okay. And I can quite relate to what he did. Is he was only excited to get a cricket star to meet us in a place, and we just said hello. We are in Dubai. 3 days, the national media talked about this, and now they are saying impound his passport. Impound whose passport? Our CETA guy's passport. We should be patriotic. Such stupidity. I walked out of I just quit the group because people are trying to stab this guy. It's politics. He just want to bring down this guy. He's saying, oh, we should be patriotic. And I just quit the group, So it's so bad. It's such a simple thing that And inadvertently, he called Afridi to the room. And national media, how much time is wasted? And that fellow gets CID in his house, how much problem, so people, now the world is, I think 99% of the people are really crazy,
I think
really
they're taking it. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that see they for popularity they are taking the things out of context and doing these things.
Yeah,
Yes.
really, really bad, how much it affected everybody, even him, and he's one of the best organizers who bring everybody together, does a lot of social service. When flood comes, Dubai depends on this fellow to arrange for food to go to this place. Such a nice fellow, and they are all bringing this guy down on one small issue, and not even, it's not an issue at all. What is an issue? You're talking to Afridi is nothing, is not a problem, right? But such is the case, so much of hatred,
Yeah, so
and
much of hatred.
and with that, I did not know this. I saw this in the group, and then somebody told me 3 days in the news it was there. So I was thinking, really, people are crazy. People are really stupid, and there is something wrong.
Hatred gets coverage, like positive stories, they don't get coverage. So
No, but
that's so
I felt,
that is
how
the
can
thing,
the
yeah.
whole world, how much of money is lost, how much of airtime is lost, how much of people's mind is lost on something very simple? Because I know this incident, even I would have done that. Like last time when Basil was there, I would have got Afridi on Zoom here. I would be in trouble, right? I would have done it. It's something simple, but how much people make a noise out of it, and I was feeling bad for that guy who did it, like how much he suffered.
Okay.
Okay, Binsi, it is.
Yes, I think now it's time for us to wind up. Priya, just 1 minute. Is there, like, unlike all other groups you address, this is a very special group for you, I understand, because we had all been with you through
Yeah,
a
yeah.
journey in life.
Yeah.
So do you have one message for each of us to, encounter loneliness as we go forward? And definitely, as Wahid told, we'll try to have one session with you separately on that. But as prelude, would you like to comment or give us some message?
Main thing is like we were discussing, like feel love instead of hatred, like be united instead of being divisive. Don't see the superficial differences, see the humanity, because us humans, as classmates, everything, we stand united. Maybe we are from various backgrounds and we are in different places and we have different interests, but we all want happiness and we don't want suffering, and we need love and warmth. No, so we don't want pain. So in that we should stay united and help each other. So that is how we can fight that loneliness, because we will always be connected and we can feel that love and warmth with that.
Thank you so much. I think Smita, you must have chosen me because I am one of the most least connected for this session. I could actually learn a lot from hearing from each one of you. And definitely, Abhaya, it had been really great listening to you, and a lot of insights and, self-reflections we were able to, do as you are speaking, and also we could listen from each one of you, my dear friends, who have joined today. Thank you once again, Smita and Abdul Wahid, for this special session. And look forward to meet each one of you. And good day, good night,
Thank
good evening.
you.
Thank you.
Anything else to add?
Thank you.
Smita?
No, nothing. Thank you. See you next CPC.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Bye.